Hey there, so the official trailer for Solo A Star Wars Story has come out. So I'm going to be giving you guys my reaction to it. And I do want to again apologize. I still have a slight cold and I'm still in the recovery process. So let's get into it. And I'll be doing my reaction to the best of my ability, and that's really all I need to say right now. So let's begin. Okay. Is that a Star Destroyer being built? Okay, poverty we're gonna see in stone. That was in the sneak.
Is it revenge?
In the teaser. What's this one? We saw the Mandarin and stuff.
Or is it something else?
Falcon. Okay.
You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Heard about a job.
What
Big
is
shot
marking?
gangster putting together crew.
Interesting.
I'm a driver, and I'm a flyer.
Okay.
I waited a long time for a shot like this. What do you think?
Is that how he gets his DL-44?
What do you know?
And I expect that to be in here.
Yeah, I know a guy. He's the best smuggler around.
I heard a story about you. I was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
Okay, Chewbacca laughing.
Let's go with the mean man's face.
Who are these guys?
Falcon. Nice.
If you come with us,
Making
you're
it
in this
easier.
life for good.
You might wanna buckle up, baby.
That training thing, type thing there.
Let me give you some
And
advice.
Chewbacca.
Assume everyone
Ooh.
will betray you.
And
You
ev-
will never be disappointed.
I
And
got a really
two
good feeling
Wookiees.
about this.
Different weapons in the Falcon,
When do you know
understandable.
how to fly? 190 years old? You look great.
I like that. Okay, light whip? That's a weapon.
So glad we took this job!
Whoa. Ooh. So we know he survives. Okay. So, just want to say that was definitely an interesting trailer. I'm not quite sure about how I feel about the music. Hopefully I'll feel a little better about that in the theater. Again, the trailer music makes sense to have a bit more upbeat, and this is supposed to be an anthology film, which means it is supposed to be very different, or at least somehow different from the main films. But the music, I enjoyed it. It just didn't seem Star Warsy enough. Does that make sense? It won't stop me from watching the film, of course. And, of course, that's just whatever they decided to show in the trailer to have us hear. They could have that could have just been one thing. For all we know, they may not even use that soundtrack in the film. But I want to go back and actually break it down a bit more. So we'll go back to the beginning, and I'll try to break things down as I see them a little bit more, because there's a lot in here. So let us continue now. So right here, when I first saw this again, you probably heard me say a Star Destroyer under construction, and seeing it paused, I definitely think my assumption was right. Because it's this classic shape of the Star Destroyer. We got the main hangar bay right here and all that. And here's a bridge component. And we can tell it's an Imperial 1 class Star Destroyer based off of the bridge design. So that's nice to see. So obviously whoever planned this on has an Imperial shipyard on it. So how it seems like they build them in atmosphere, which I'm not quite so sure about, because we've seen shipyards in orbit. No, I can easily accept, and I can even accept ships being built on the planet side in atmosphere. No, sorry, and all that, I can accept that. It just seems like with massive ships that shouldn't be feasible. Though parts of it, like the bridge section, I can perfectly see that stuff being built on plane side and then shipped up. Okay, we're getting some kind of rodent-like creature. Hey, that's world building for you. So, obviously we're going to see a little bit more of the, the lower life, the poverty side of Star Wars, which we saw glimpses of on Tatooine, but that was like it. At most every other planet we saw were very prosperous. Interesting
You're
answer.
after something. Is it
Okay.
revenge?
So it's being implied to that Han Solo is looking after something. The first thing is revenge, then they mention money. Which probably money more likely than not. Lando, some kind of game. May not actually be the Sabak game, but it might be. Because we have no idea, well, the Sabak game where Han Solo won the Falcon. I don't know for sure, because all this stuff is really taken out of context, and our best bet is really to speculate. So that's
Money?
funny. That sounds more reasonable besides the scene they put you with.
Or is it something else?
You look good. A little rough around the edges, but good.
Got this planet here. These pillows have some kind of marking on them. I wonder if they have anything important, or are they just a cool Easter egg to something? Both of which could be an interesting way to explore.
Heard about a job.
It also could be they start as I'm sorry, I don't know. But job. Wait. Interesting. That's an interesting thing. If I didn't stop here prematurely, because I had a thought that I disregarded, I would never have noticed that. Interesting. Is there some kind of control box, like to summon ships? A remote control? Or is it just decorative? I'm not sure what that is, but it's interesting.
Big shot gangster putting together crew.
So they make it imply there that whatever the heist that we're going to see in the film was some gangster, as they were calling it, wants this job done. For all we know, that could be Jabba the Hutt, or it could be some other Hutt or some gangster we've never seen before. In a way, I would kind of prefer a gangster we haven't seen before, but it also would be neat again to see one of those, see a Hutt or a big-time gangster like Jabba the Hutt, which is probably the most likely big name if they don't create somebody new. But that is kind of interesting. It would be interesting if Jabba actually appears. But it may not be, but that when they saw his big time, that makes me think Hutts in Star Wars. Just does.
I'm a driver.
Okay, even though I never saw that film, Baby Driver, I saw commercials for it on YouTube and got sick of it. That line though just made me think of that movie, and I have no idea how good or bad that movie was, so I have no idea what to think about it. I just got very annoyed by the promos for that film I kept on seeing on YouTube when it was before it came out. That line there just made me think of it, and I didn't like that. Didn't like thinking of a movie I've never seen before. I could be way off basis here. I haven't even no idea what much about that movie. I just saw those promos for it. But that line made me think of it, because that's like one of those, because those promos for Baby Driver I couldn't skip through on YouTube. Frustrating. I presume you guys all know that feeling. And so, and like something along that vein line was said in those promos, and just the fact that I hear it here in the solo trailer is just off-putting for me. I could be very off basis though.
And I'm a flyer.
The fly part I'm more excited about, because we know he's a good pilot. And judging by this scene that I paused here, it seems like they're getting some kind of airspeeder or aircraft that's going to literally pull part of that train we see down here in the other scenes in this trailer and in the teaser trailer, literally pull it off the tracks and take it somewhere, which sounds pretty cool. And wherever these are, I have no idea what kind of ships they are, but maybe we'll get a neat. Maybe they can call them E-wings because it makes an E shape, or 3 wings because it makes a 3 shape. I'm just speculating wildly and totally making no sense there. Let's continue.
I waited a long time for a shot like this.
Yeah, I found that thing interesting, but I think it's, Han Solo's done some expect. Oh, I wanted to go back to that thing between.
Well, what do you know?
So, yeah, not too much there. But that's interesting, some kind of ancient creatures with head, skull, and tusks are being used as an entrance to some location. Probably some kind of cantina or like.
You got a line on a ship?
Yeah, I know a guy. He's the best smuggler around.
That's probably
I heard a
meet
story about you. I
Lando.
was wondering if it's true.
Everything you've heard about me is true.
Okay, so I just want to break down that line there, that interaction between Han and Lando. There is a possibility that I could be splicing 2 scenes together and audio from other areas to misdirect us, but I think the neat thing would be for that thing to be the Kessel one. That's what Han has heard about Lando, because I was still. And of course, and then Lando's would be boasting about the Falcon, because it's obvious he owns the Falcon, based off the lines from episode 5. Sorry. But what Han says in A New Hope about it's a ship that made the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs. So that could be what Han has heard about Lando. Lando could have done it. And how they're going to explain the parsecs thing, because parsecs is a unit of distance, not of time. We know how it was done in Legends, but how are they going to do it in canon? I think the best bet is to kind of just play it off as being an arrogant boast that nobody ever facts check. Mainly because in the script for A New Hope, it does say that Obi-Wan knew that it was a boast and was made no sense, but Luke did not know better. Something along those lines. So I think it would be nice for them to establish that this is definitely a boastful act. This about the Falcon doing the Kessel Run in 12 parsecs being a boast that has been that Lando has said and Han has subsequently repeated, even if it has no basis for fact. I think that'd be a neat way for them to do it, and it would kind of distinguish the Falcon from its Legends counterpart, which would, I think, be cool for them to do. And though that probably would anger a bunch of fans, but hey, I think they should do it, and I'm going to stand by that. But if they take the Legends route, again, I'll be fine, but I just want to say, no matter what, if they make parsecs and somehow turn them into a unit in time, that'll get totally crazy, and I would be mad at that. Yeah, turning parsecs into unit in time will not be fine with, and I will complain about that. But if they use a Legends version of the explanation, I will be fine with that. And I also would be fine with them just showing it as a boast. Both of which would be fine, and both of which would anger the community, so it doesn't matter which one they choose. Yeah, I'm getting kind of cynical about the fan base, because I'm probably going to do a video talking about that sometime in the future, probably after Solo comes out, but we'll see what happens.
L3!
Let go of the mean man's face.
Okay, I just kind of let go of the mean man's face. That's just like crazy. I wonder who the mean man was. I can't tell.
Man's face.
Who are these guys?
Let's go back. There's the Falcon. So different sense, different shape. Now I don't mind the Falcon looking newer. In fact, I kind of like that. More off the line, or just kind of acknowledge that Lando takes much better care of the Falcon than Han did. But It's really the centerpiece that bugs me. The dish doesn't bug me at all because they changed it for the Force Awakens and new parts get changed, but they seriously will have to have a very good explanation for this piece right here in the folk section. They have to have a good explanation for it. Otherwise, I will totally rip it and complain about it for being a pure stunt to make a different toy for them to sell, different piece of merchandise. I will complain about that if it serves no story purpose. So hopefully, and I pray that it will serve some kind of story purpose or have a good explanation. But if they just don't address it at all, I will call it out as a merchandising ploy. But if they do address it reasonably and makes sense, whether it be some kind of modification that they're made and Han got rid of or whatnot, but it has to be reasonable and semi-relevant to the story. Otherwise, I will complain. That's why I don't mind the dish or even the fact that the weapons are different, because those parts are much more detachable and can get changed and upgraded. And we know the Falcon has received lots of illegal modifications. So hopefully there's a good explanation for this change up here. But if not, I will complain. But it has to be a good explanation for me to not complain, because that's something I will legitimately complain about if there's no good explanation, because this is one of the best looks we got at a Falcon. And most appearance changes, I really don't mind if it's kind of shows that that ships get modified and parts get replaced. But if there's no good reasoning for it, like no good logical reasoning for it or story reasoning for such a change, I will be frustrated and complain about it. So that's my warning to the folks over at Disney and Lucasfilm and all the creators for Solo a Star Wars Story. Even though you've already done all the CGI and special effects stuff needed to do this, just so you know, you better have made a good, logical, or story-based reason for such a change. I want a reasoning for this. Weapon, sensor dish, no problem with that. You don't need to explain that to me. That's very logical for reasoning. Parts get replaced. But here, this is a bit more noticeable and needs a bit more explanation. But let's move on. I gotta get done with this rant. Again, I don't mind the clean interior either.
You're in this life for good.
Which I found that line kind of interesting. If you come with us, you're in this life for good. I think that does kind of show how it kind of almost gives Han this assumption that once he becomes a smuggler and a criminal, he will always be one. Which does kind of fit his character, how after he wasn't, once the New Republic became legitimate and established, he had difficulty settling down with Leia. And then he eventually does go back to his old smuggler roots. After a good couple years of hosting races according to Bloodline. But hey, that's kind of neat to see, but kind of shows that Han Solo will always apparently return to these roots. That's also just a cool shot.
Up, baby.
Okay, good look at the train. Okay, not that good of look, but it's still a neat shot. Okay, fight. Okay, let's go back. I want to get a good look at those troops. Okay, so they're very reminiscent of the Shore Troopers. Now, are these Imperial Troopers or something along the line of the Corporate Sector Authorities policing force / security force / military from Legends? I think that would be kind of a neat thing to do, like a special arm of, like a sector's own security force that is in league and cooperation with the Empire, so they get some of the equipment. And if like the Show Trooper style helmet is like one of those equipment, I'll be fine with that. And again, yeah, I'd be fine with that. But I think that would be neat to have these, loosely affiliated with the Galactic Empire rather than regular stormtroopers. They can even be called stormtroopers for all I care. But I would like them to be affiliated with an associate, affiliate, or satellite of the Empire rather than the Empire itself, more of an indirect affiliation with the Empire, which I think would be kind of a more interesting way to explain and kind of expand on the universe. I have no idea what they're going to do, but that's what I hope for.
Let me give you some advice.
Advice?
Assume everyone will betray you.
Which I think is interesting. Assume everyone will betray you. That is, in my opinion, kind of interesting, and maybe I think would be neat. Would kind of go with my initial speculation that Han Solo is going to be, learning to rely only on himself, and I'm going to say Chewbacca because he obviously does. I think that would be kind of neat, to emphasize the solo part of his name, and I will kind of explain why. By the time of the original trilogy, he really doesn't want to help anyone or get involved. Except for get paid, done, goodbye kind of thing. More business-like, unlike fighting for a cause. And I think that's something we get to see him learn in the original trilogy. And in the comics and all the other things set during the original trilogy. In a way, I want to see the opposite of that in Solo. I don't know if they're going to go that route, but I think that would be kind of neat. And this is just an interesting weapon. I think some kind of grappling weapon. Yeah.
You will never be disappointed.
Okay, we also get to see that Chewbacca embrace another Wookiee. So maybe we'll get to see some of Chewbacca's family. I think that would be awesome to see. And I will hope it's Chewbacca's family, because why else would he be embracing a Wookiee? Now, I don't know too much about Wookiee culture and legends, but I imagine that, only close friends and family get embraces. So obviously somebody Chewbacca knows. This is what I'm getting at here. Hopefully family, in my opinion.
I got a really good
That
feeling
creature
about
again.
this.
Good. Oh, what?
Since when do you know
Where's that line?
When do you never be disappointed?
I got a really good feeling about this.
I've got a really good feeling about this. The opposite of I have a really bad feeling about this. Now, I wish they didn't include that in the trailer, because then it would have been an awesome reveal in the actual film. But still, that is just kind of neat. Like, a good way to twist the I have a bad feeling about this line. Maybe they'll still include that, but that is kind of a good way. And I think also shows a bit more of Han Solo's younger side, more positive side. For in the original trilogy, we get to see him a bit more cynical, he's been around, he's been involved in all of this criminal activity, all the smuggler stuff, having to deal with gangsters in the Empire. So of course his feelings will change. I think good character moment there when you analyze it. And then we get now here the same TIE fighter that we saw in the teaser. Another look at it. Somebody, one of the initial speculations I know was that these were additional weapons or sparks for a trainer. Somebody also speculates that it could be a sensor pod that gives targeting data to the other TIE fighters. I don't know what, but I think no matter what, it's going to be interesting. And there's a Star Destroyer. A different weapon, but that's
Since when do you know how to fly?
Okay, since when do you know how to fly? Like, apparently this is the first time Chewbacca's going to fly in front of Han.
190 years old?
So we get Chewbacca's age in Solo, 190 years old, which that will help us place the film on the timeline, assuming we get a good reference point of another year. But that's kind of neat, and we can, now we know that that Han Solo definitely understands Chewbacca. We always knew he did, but there were some people speculating he only pretended to know, which I think is crazy, in my opinion. Is that an escape hatch? Sorry, but yeah, I think there's an escape hatch in the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon, which I think is just downright cool, much like a lot of craft.
You look great.
Oh yeah, you look great. that's kind of more based, based off of humans' perception of what people look like when at their age. But Yoda is still older than Chewbacca. Yeah, like a light whip there. I'm not sure. Interesting weapon though. I can't tell what it is, but kind of reminiscent of an EE4 that we saw in the first Battlefront game by DICE. But it could be another weapon, and because of the contrast and the action, I get a good look at it. Some heavy weapons. Throwing.
So glad we took this job!
Yeah, I talked about that scene earlier. That scene there where it appears like they're going to have Chewbacca hit the side, but we know he is not going to hit the side. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed my reaction and breakdown of the official trailer for Solo: A Star Wars Story, please leave a like and comment down below. What did you think of the trailer, and what are your expectations for Solo? Consider following me on social media to help stay notified when I put out new videos, and subscribe to the channel for future Star Wars content, including a full-blown predictions video for Solo, and then my subsequent review of it after it comes out. And as always, have a good day, a good night, wherever you are. May the Force be with you, always.